Hello YouTube, I'm David with the David West channel. Well, today I want to make a video and show you some close-up shots of the gear that I use. Nothing special about my gear. I just use a stainless steel Mora companion knife. I've got a diamond stone that I've been using for 20 years. Hair products can that I use for a Char Tin. $20 Corona saw from Lowe's. And I just want to basically give you some close-up shots of the gear that I use, some of the techniques that I use, and I want to play around with the slow motion and fast forward some on this one, so we'll go ahead and get started. Alright, just your standard Mora knife. I bought it from Dave Canterbury. This is the first time I've gotten a stainless steel one though. And it does hold the edge well, and it hasn't been as hard to put the edge back on with the sharpening stone as I thought. It's a great knife. Right now I think I'll stick with stainless steel, which is a big change for me because I've always been a big believer in high carbon steel Moras. And nothing special about the diamond stone. I remember I bought it at Lowe's. This is the fine side, this is the coarse. About 20 years ago, for about $30. I think they're a lot cheaper than that now. And yeah, it's pretty worn out, but I still use it. And you've seen the Corona saw before that you get from Lowe's. This might be the one that I bought at the flea market for $5. Still good and sharp. This is a hair products can. And I actually used the waxy product that came out of this, used it in a fat lamp. I've got that video, I'll put it in the description. And we'll be using this piece of chert that I got from the flea market almost exactly a year ago. I'll put that video in the description. I bought 6 pieces of chert for $5. And this has really been good stuff right here. You see where I've beaten off all the edges. And just a piece of American beech that we'll be using for a baton this morning. I guess I'll use the fire that we make today to make some denim char cloth. Then we're going to use, as I'm splitting this poplar right here, I'm going to use the Canadian hitch and tie 4 pieces together and split 4 pieces at the same time. Or well, not at the same time, but split them where they won't be flying off the table. So the Canadian hitch, you're just going to start with a stop knot and tie this end around here. And get your stop knot all the way up the top there. So this is a standard slip knot with a stop knot on the end. So we'll tie it around those 4 pieces and cinch it down real tight, split them, and when I get done you can release it right here, pull up on the stop knot. Standard Canadian hitch. And let's see, our stove. Here's what I usually use to plug off that hole. And I guess you've seen my stove. I'll put the link in the description for the playlist that has the bills on these stoves. Just the cover for the feed slot. elevated floor for some of the best airflow. These stoves are the best as far as starting quickly and burning good and hot. So I've probably got about 5 or 6 of these stoves. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing I want to do is try to get the bark off that piece of poplar, because I want to break it down into fibers. That's what we use to start our fire. But the bark on this particular piece of poplar is attached very tightly, so I'm going to use time lapse. Alright, that took some doing. All tulip poplar bark isn't that difficult. Some of it sticks hard to the branch, to the wood, and doesn't process up easily. And then others just slides right off and just breaks right up into the individual fibers easily. But this would be good enough to go ahead and ferro rod ignite. Well, I think I tied my Canadian hitch wrong. It matters which way you tie it. I came around here like this and had it tied like this. But I think instead of tying it that way, I need to tie it this way, come around this way, so that it'll cinch down right and release right. Let's see if this works better, because I just tried it the other way and it didn't cinch down right. Let's try that now. Then when you want to release it, you pull this knot. So let's try it. Let's go ahead and split these 3. I'll get it down a little bit lower so I don't cut it. Hopefully I won't bounce these off the table. All right, let's go ahead and make our fire. For tinder, I've got this tulip poplar bark and more tulip poplar bark, some smalls, and mostly mediums. This should fire right up. Since we're showing my gear, I'll try to straighten it out a little bit. This is my keychain ferro rod, and I call it a Sperro rod because I glued this spear in the end of it with some epoxy. And I'll put that video down in the description. This is a 5/16 by 3 1/8 inch long ferro rod. I can't think of the company name right now, but it's a really good ferro rod. Let me show you. I'm going to go ahead and put you back on time lapse because you know how long it can take to build a fire up. But it started, you can see in there. Let's see how our charred denim came out. We're looking for supple, not brittle or hard, and a little bit of a sheen on it. So far all of these are supple, but there's not a sheen on them. There's a little bit of smoke residue on them, but they should still be highly reactive. None of them are crispy or hard. That's good. So let's go ahead and try this one out. Well, I tell you what, this steel has really turned out to be great. Let's turn it to where the logo is facing us. And I got a good sharp piece of chert. Let's go ahead and give it a try. Let's see if we can get the close-up. Always difficult. It's hard to stay in the shot. Let's tear it so we can use all of these threads here. And I like this edge right here. Let's try it. Okay, I'm going to try to stay in the shot. Alright, now when all of that wood burns down into ash, I'll be back out here in a couple hours and we'll go ahead and I'll show you how I harvest the ash. All right, and just a $3 strainer from Walmart, and you've seen this bottle a bunch on my videos. This is a $1 stainless bottle that I got from the Goodwill store, and I'm about full up on ashes. So let's go ahead and strain out some ashes. You don't have to strain the ashes. That's just something I like to do. It's that white ash is what you want. A lot of people are forever thinking that it's the little bits of char that's in there that causes the fire roll to ignite. That's not it. It's a chemical reaction that has something to do with the chemical makeup of the white ash. To me, the char just gets in the way. I try to exclude as much char, as much of that black material as possible. This is what I use. Let's see if we can get it in the bottle. The wind has just started to kick up a little bit. that's about it. Those ashes will last me a long time. I use ashes for the fire roll. I use it for ash tinder, and I use it occasionally when a hand drill spindle is very slick. Then I coat my hands in ashes. So I actually use a lot more ash than what you might think. Let me go ahead and clean this up and lay out all of my gear back out on the table, and we'll say our goodbyes. All right, there it is. I think that's everything I used today. And of course I got some other stuff. I got some old Hickory butcher knives that I like a lot. I got a couple other Mora knives and a couple other stoves and stuff. Let's count up what we got here. This Sperro rod is $3. This is $5 at the flea market, so that's $8. Another 25 is 33, 34, 37, 40, 41, 42, and $1 worth of paracord, $43. So I don't really have expensive gear, but it suits me. It's durable, it's easy to work with, functional, gets the job done. All right, y'all. I appreciate you joining me on this one. We'll catch you on the next one.